Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to Blast Off with Light. And here I am on the future site of our Mekanism ore processing facility. We're just going to make a nice small thing right around here that will house the various machines and power sources we need to do all of our fancy ore type stuff. Yeah. To get some of that ready, I was spending some time over at the conjuration station, and, well, got hit by a tornado. It is outside of the range of the weather deflector thingy that's in here, so it was not protected from the tornado. Learned a couple of interesting things. Fences, not immune to tornadoes. These factory blocks are. Thickened glass is not. Thought the thickened glass might be strong enough to withstand the tornadoes. It was mostly there just to shield it from the asteroids, because apparently there are too many things that can destroy us here on this planet. But the tornado was able to pull out a lot of the thickened glass that I was using for protection over there. So eventually we'll need to build a full structure around the conjuration station. So if you've got ideas, let me know. It needs to be large enough to cover the whole facility and potentially a little extra for other sorts of storage or teleportation or whatever. The drone still hasn't come back. I don't know where it is. I'll have to go searching. But today we need to do a little bit of work and then hopefully set up a bit of the processing station. So in here, we've got some of the stuff that we've already made, the separator, enrichment chamber, crusher, and whatnot. I made a second enrichment chamber. It just took an extra steel casing and a little bit of work. So we need these to make ourselves the purification. I forget exactly what it was called, but it's something with purification. Maybe purification chamber. Yeah, purification chamber. Now, this other bit right here is for a secondary thing. Yes, I made another steel casing. Well, one of these I already had, because I had 5 steel casings. Yeah, I had 5 steel casings. I made one more, which is helping out a bit. So we've got that going. This last thing that I want to make is a... what is it called? An osmium compressor. Because that'll help me make some of the other interesting things that could be good for just having around, could be good for other purposes. Let's see. So I definitely want to bring the factory. I just want to bring all this stuff. Okay, we're also going to need power cables. So these basic universal cable doesn't carry a whole lot of juice, but then again, it doesn't really need to. And then the upgrades are just standard Mekanism upgrades. We can do those no trouble. But for these initial cables, we need steel and redstone. But our blaze farm does a fantastic job of getting us steel. We've got steel for days. It's relatively annoying to get steel through Mekanism. It's all right. You just need to do a couple of weird things with coal and iron and all that. But with the blaze farm, look at this. Look at all that steel. We got plenty to go around. But our whatchamacallit is still outside of our safe zone. So we're going to sleep and then move back to doing what we need to do. I've made a couple of tweaks to the recording settings, but they may or may not be working properly at the moment. So if I get some weird framiness, I'm sorry. So we've got these. We still... oh, there were a couple of extra machines we needed to pick up from inside. I'm also gonna need an extra bucket. So from in here, I want to take the metallurgic infuser as well as the Stirling generator. Okay, so here's the Stirling generator. There's the metallurgic infuser. So I just want to move all of this work outside. I want to bring all this stuff out here. Now I'm going to build a building here to put it in, but for now I'm just going to put the stuff down. So let's see. Step 1 is the separator. Where do we want to put it? Let's put it here. So we need the separator. The separator pumps oxygen into the purification chamber. The purification chamber generates things that need to be crushed. Once they are crushed, they need to be enriched. And then once they're enriched, they need to be smelted. Now, to get water into that, we're going to need water to begin with. I don't have a shovel. It's probably in my my golden bag, but yeah, it's feeling a little framier than usual. I'm not sure if I've got something extra running and it's causing trouble, but so it goes. We're going to need to put something over the water. Yeah, we're going to need to put something over the water to keep it from freezing. For now, it's just going to be a... Whoa, that's quite a jump. Just a temporary structure. Do I have anything good for temporary? I really don't. So clay it is. 2, 3 should... You can't decompress the clay? That's strange. But I don't really need to either. We just need... Really? You froze already? Just need a bit of an overhang to keep it from doing anything untoward. Okay, so electric pump goes there. Now, we've got that, but can we make it do what we need to? Because theoretically, it should just... okay. Once we get the power going, it should just... okay. So you can see that right here. That most likely needs to pump into where we want it to go. So we will need some form of wrench. It might be a configurator. Jeez. That is incredibly complicated. Maybe just a wrench? Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. Come on. But we might be able to just do that. Now, they're all adjacent. They should theoretically output into each other, but it's hard to tell. Because for this guy, what's going to be output where? Because we've got one output over here. Hopefully, it's the one we want. But that's why we're here. experimentation, science, generally type stuff. Let's put the Stirling generator here and plug everybody in. Now, I don't know if this guy's getting power. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. He might need power from the top, maybe? It's kind of hard to tell. No power. So let's remove this and remove that. Add a little more cabling up top. Perhaps it needs the power from the side. And it's outputting to the top. No, that's not what I wanted at all. It's an awfully silly pump if it... Okay, so let's take that and that. Well, that got the power in the top. That's so very weird. Let's try it like so. Okay, now it's not connected again. You're being incredibly weird, electric pump. Okay, now let's take a look at it. Still no power. So that was just a graphical glitch. So all of these should have power, they just don't necessarily have anything useful. So we can do some things with just the enrichment chamber, maybe. But I really need to get this electric pump to work. I mean, maybe I can just put water into the machine. Maybe not. Okay, so that did a thing. And it made oxygen. Brilliant! So, I'll eventually make that do what it needs to do, but for now we can just give it a bucket of water. I'm gonna dump the hydrogen for now. We will eventually use the hydrogen to do other type things, because there's plenty of things we can use hydrogen for. We can fuel all sorts of things, but for now we just need the oxygen to purify things. Here's hoping we can just take some of these, let's say osmium, and just chuck it into this system, and it'll just do what it needs to do. So we come here and we go shapow. Nothing. So an obsidian shard becomes an obsidian clump. The actual ores become clumps. So can we take this and turn it into a real ore? Okay, so 2 of them makes a real ore. So this should give us 10 real ores, which we can dump in here. And this is freezing up again. And that does nothing. Oh, then we cook 10 of them to make 1 real ore. Oh, we cook 1 to make 1, most likely. Okay, so this is becoming an incredibly tedious process. Now, Mekanism has a lot of amazing abilities. It can do things very quickly, and it can multiply the ores beyond belief. But if I have to take every ore and go, okay, let's cook it in lava, and then wait. I've got 1600 in there, so I could probably do all 10 of these. So we put it in there, and we wait. Eventually, it'll turn into regular ore, which we can put in the machines, and the machines may or may not do what we need. So we started off with 20 of those things. So that means that's 20 osmium ingots we should be able to get out from this process. But as it stands, got a thing full of lava. I don't see any smoke coming off of it. Hardened osmium ore. Oh, 2 full buckets of lava. 120 seconds. So now that should be enough to do 1 block. None of those are full. Actually, I've got some cobblestone on me. Somewhere. Here we go. Okay, so that 2 minutes later will turn into 1 processable ore. 1. Maybe iron's better. Okay, so we take this guy. 2 turns into that. Or 8 turns into that. Okay, so 2 turns into one of these. One of these plus 2 buckets and 2 minutes turns into one of those, which we can then process with our processor. This is starting to seem absurd. As if it didn't before. Granted, we have access to infinite amounts of lava. More lava than you can shake any sort of stick at. We can make a large vat. Just fill it with piles and piles of lava. Just keep putting these in. Or we could just harvest more meteors and not multiply it with Mekanism. I don't know. Because I do like the idea of Mekanism. I like a lot of the things that it should be able to do. But right now, I'm just trying to make it just do basic things with basic ores. And it's not making it easy. Not making it easy at all. But my general plan for the future, at least, was to take some of the hydrogen from this process and the overabundance of apples and saplings that I get from my charcoal farm and turn it into ethylene and make a gas burning engine gas a gas-burning generator, because this takes 2 steel casings and then very easy things. Because this guy, simple. No problems. These are a little annoying. The advanced PCBs are going to be the worst part of making any of this. I've got a few extra things laying around, but man, is this stuff expensive. So even just the 2 steel casings are a bit rough. I was hoping to be able to make quite a few of these, but then you run into the problem of crucible furnaces are also not strictly cheap. There are lots of weird things that go into making one of these heat generators. It makes abundant green energy, but oof. Whereas this takes an energized smelter and all sorts of craziness. So I just need to decide on which insane route I need to go down. Because there are a lot of insane routes. I just need to pick one. I probably need to do a better job of automating everything over in Pneumaticraft land. But for now, let's just see whether or not this actually works. So we take 1 ore, which took a while to get, put it in here. Take some oxygen, take some time, goes through a process of purification, and gets turned into clumps, which are not automatically output into the next machine. Ugh. Maybe the configurator could fix that. Maybe. Maybe this does. Ah, eject off. So, what we need. We've got the blue slot. So input is off. Here, red from here. This guy, red from here. You, red from here. Now, blue goes there. Eject on. Now, would it have done it if everything had been set up? Quite possibly. Okay, so this one doesn't need input. This one needs input, but input is on from the red, outputs blue. You. Input is on, outputs blue. You. Input is on, outputs nothing. Okay, so let's pretend that it automatically did this one and brought it over into the crusher and put it there. Now it takes these clumps, crushes them down. So we started with one thing which was worth 2 osmium. So chomp, 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 chomp. We're making a bunch of dirty osmium dust. And we're making 3 of that. Here's hoping once we clean it up in the next machine, it just makes the 3 ingots. So we would have gotten a 50% gain by using a significant amount of power. Oh, and it did not do the automatic ejection that I wanted. I actually picked it up and put it into the next thing. So something in this is not set up properly. It should automatically eject it over here, but it's not doing it. So I will do a bit of research, find out why it's being dumb. But now that we've got this basic factory going, we can use power to cook things. But then again, our power comes from charcoal, which we can use to cook things. Now, there are several tiers higher in Mekanism. This is just the most basic for tripling ores, I guess. You can get up to quintupling, I think. You can get up to ×5, so that would take 2 and turn it into 5, so it's slightly more than doubling your input. But again, you have to do that pre-processing where you take them, combine them, and throw them in lava for 2 minutes. But in the end, what would have been 2 is 3. I guess that's something. But that's all I've got time for this episode. Next episode, I hope to build at least a little bit of a building around all of that stuff back there. Keep it a little contained. I would like to look into better power sources than the Stirling generator, and hopefully a way of either getting PCBs faster or doing the ore processing with the lava faster. There's always the exploit with the lava, where I can create as much lava as I want as fast as I want, but I'd kind of like to avoid that if at all possible. But I will see you in the next episode of Blast Off with Light.